Welcome to another edition of Our City. If residents want to visit any of our social media accounts, you can get more information concerning upcoming events, or simply have a question, you can call our public information office at 908-820-4124. And recently I had the great pleasure of cutting a ribbon at a new facility here in our city, and it's called TheraYouth. And I'm pleased to be joined by Miss Irina Marcoff, who's the director of physical therapy and the founder of TheraYouth, as well as Miss Karen McLaughlin, who is a grants and management consultant. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
So before we begin, it's usually like, hey, tell us about yourself, whatever you want, basically. So you want to go first?
I am Irina Marcoff, doctor of physical therapy, and the founder of TheraYouth Pediatric Clinic.
So your degree is in
Physical therapy.
physical therapy.
Yes.
And so you work all different areas.
Yes. I have a for-profit clinic in New Providence where we treat babies to boomers, and the need of children from lower-income families to have therapy got me an idea to start a nonprofit.
So when you say babies to boomers, you mean old people like me, right?
I mean, like, we have as old as 98 years old. So, and
I'm a
I
little
call her
younger than
young
that.
lady because
I'm a
she
little
still plays rocket sports. So.
And Karen, could you tell us a little bit about yourself as well?
Sure. I'm a grants and management consultant, a longtime Jersey resident, Jersey City, now Somerset County, and I met Irina actually in the town in which we live, but she told me about the idea of TheraYouth and the fact that she needed some help, and it's a great nonprofit helping a lot of kids, and I said, yeah, let me see how I can help you.
So when I was there, it was just starting ribbon cutting.
Yes.
Didn't have many clients, if any, at that point. So what is the goal, or what is the purpose of the organization that you've formed?
The purpose in the bigger picture, we want to bring a clinic like this to every needed neighborhood to serve as many children as possible in those kind of areas.
With the mission of providing physical, occupational, and speech therapy to children regardless of their insurance status. So whether
Or
they
no
have
insurance.
if they have no insurance, if they have private insurance, if they're on Medicare or Medicaid, we want to be able to service them at a very low or no cost.
So that's how you get involved, is trying to help with the funding in that area, Karen?
Yes, exactly.
And how much is out there? Is it's competitive, or tell me?
Well, it's
I know, because we go
Yeah.
after grants as well, and it's never
Right.
easy.
Well, it's very challenging because we're still in our first TheraYouth. Irina founded TheraYouth 2.5 years ago, but the clinic just opened this past summer. So a lot of funders want to see that you've survived your first year. So we've been doing a sort of a patchwork of things to keep the clinic open. We have private donors, we've had a couple of benefit concerts, and then we've got a couple of grants so far.
So do you work with the patients directly, or do you have a
Yes.
staff? What is your role, and how do you do that?
We started with one speech therapist and one occupational therapist, and the need is so great that we had to hire a month ago another occupational therapist and another speech therapist. And even though we hired them just a month ago, our waiting list again builds up. So we want to hire more, but we don't have funds because everybody tells us, oh, come back to us in a year or two. Pretty much.
That's the answers you're getting.
How do you survive?
You just explained that, right? So I might have someone you can call when we're done here. you talked about the needs that you meet for the individual.
Yes.
Are there any other needs that you meet or that the clinic attempts to meet besides speech and physical and occupational therapy?
Eventually, we want to bring a counseling because I believe health and mental, they go hand in hand. And when we be able to get funds, we want to bring a counseling therapy as well.
Do you see a lot of the mental challenges as opposed to the physical challenges? Is that growing in young people today?
They go hand in hand.
They do.
Especially after COVID. Kids who were born a few years before or during the COVID has just extreme impact on their mental and physical health.
Staying indoors and everything and
Yes,
not getting
and
out, not
seeing
socializing.
people's faces, not because children, before they speak, they learn through your expressions, how you move your face, how you move your mouth, and they haven't seen that. For them, it was extreme challenge to develop without having the most essential mimics in their life.
So we know you talked about the need, the two of you talked about the need for affordable pediatric clinics, and you chose Elizabeth, which we're happy. This is your first one?
Yes.
Okay. And you hope to open in other neighborhoods throughout the state, or you want to keep it close to where?
Throughout the state.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's a typical day look like in the clinic?
So a typical day, we have our front desk person, receptionist, come in, prepare all the stuff, like administrative stuff before patients show up. Then patients come in, we encourage patients to be on time because we don't like people sitting on, I believe that people should not be sitting in a waiting room and waiting for their doctor or therapist to be seen for hour and a half. So we're very respectful to people's time. So we encourage people to be on time, and then the child goes into a room and gets a therapy session with a therapist, and if parents like to be in the same room, no problem. But if we see that presence of a parent affects child's behavior, and then we ask parent to wait in the waiting room. Sessions are the length of the session determined by a therapist during evaluation. Can be anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes.
So my daughter had a speech problem when she was very young. I think I told you about this when I met with you and she went to Kane. Now, I was not in the room with her but I could watch through a partition. Yeah. And then the exercises that she did, I would then go home with her and do the exercises with her. Is that part of your
future goal?
Future goal.
We don't have the fund for that.
Okay.
So you need to have, and those are, we have right now just like 2 weeks ago through wonderful people installing the cameras. So if parents ask, they can review it, but we don't have the funds for iPads and having a camera in each room right now so people can actually watch it.
Yeah, it was
But
more
in
like
the
a sliding
future-
door type of thing, a window. And actually, not only did the class, but it worked. I mean, my daughter has zero speech issues at this time, and she's 23 now, but when she was younger, clearly some of the pronunciation of words could not be socially acceptable. So,
I too had a speech issue when I was young, and the school that I went to caught it, and I worked with a speech therapist. And I don't know, you guys be the judge.
Well, you're fine.
Hopefully.
I don't know, speech you're
So,
writing is
if I could ask you a personal question, when you went home, was there work with parents or when you're home?
There were some exercises that we had to do, and with a worksheet and some things about the way my mouth was working that I had to work on.
Yeah. So it's more common than people probably realize, right?
Yeah.
Because we never expected that was going to happen when you're born healthy, and all of a sudden your speech is a problem. Mm-hmm. So parents usually, if insurance falls short and treatments are too costly, do the parents just walk away? Is that the case?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if treatment costs on average $150 to $200 a session, and you fitting a family of 4 and $60,000 a year, you just can't afford that. And most of the time, kids need not just 10 sessions; they need 30 sessions or 40 sessions. Depends on the severity of the case. So
So tell me about why is the treatment different at a TheraYouth clinic than it may be at some other clinics?
the treatments are not different. We try to provide the same high quality treatments,
Even though it's at a lower cost.
even though it's at a lower cost, yes. But the difference is that the parents are not facing the high cost. They're not getting bills on thousands of dollars.
So if I can just jump
Go
in.
ahead, I want you to.
Typically how it works at a typical physical therapy office, the reimbursement from either government or private insurance isn't great. So that's why a typical therapy office has to charge $120, maybe $150 per session, in our area. Because at TheraYouth, we're offsetting those costs through charitable donations and grants and other fundraising avenues. Then that's why it allows Irina and her staff to be able to give the therapy sessions at low to no cost.
So, go ahead, Irina.
And also, what I tell my therapist, because insurance is authorized only limited amount, so I tell my therapist, you have to set the treatment that child needs, not what the insurance thinks the child needs, because most people are not clinicians there, and it goes by protocol guidelines. They don't see the child. So I tell them if the child needs to be 2 times a week for 12 weeks, that's what we're going to give them, even if insurance just gives 10 visits, which right now we're still in the process of credentialing with all the Medicaid insurances. It takes up to 6 months. So right now everybody's pretty much treated for free. We're not getting any money yet because it takes so long, especially Blue Cross Medicaid is giving us such a hard time.
So how do you assess the parents and accept them, I guess, is the question.
Primary is the insurance. What kind of insurance people? And most insurances, if it's Medicaid, obviously people have lower income. And if it's private insurance, it says where a person works. And then we ask questions, what's their job status there? And if it says MD, obviously a person is capable of paying. But if a person is working as a custodian in a hospital, you can judge how much those people make.
So a parent or a group of parents come in and the first thing they do is see what happens? They get assessed by you or staff member?
It depends what they need.
Okay.
If they're referred for physical therapy, they are assessed by me in physical therapy. If they are referred to occupational therapy, they are assessed by occupational therapist. If for speech therapy, by speech therapist, or maybe some of the kids actually need 2 services, occupational and speech, or speech and physical therapy. And once we assess, we determine the issue, we write the report that goes to doctor, pediatrician, and doctor agrees or disagrees. If most of the time, I've never had doctors disagreeing. And we determine how the child will be treated.
And what are you seeing so far? What's the predominant issue so far?
Predominant issue, it's honestly a lot of issues. Sensory issues in children, low tone, poor coordinations. Children have trouble with fine motor skills because everything is figure on all those touch screens. So kids can't hold a pen properly or a fork properly, which takes you even further, buttoning shirts, tying the shoes. So it takes you on a simple speech again. Physical therapy, kids can't jump 10 times without stepping and saying, I'm so tired.
It happens to me too, though.
But you're not 8 years old.
When you were a kid 10 years old, your mother probably told you to sit down and relax, right?
That's true.
So-
What's the first question a parent's going to ask, you think?
How much it's gonna cost?
Okay,
I
that's
can't afford paying it. If you send me the bill, I'm not bringing my child.
Right.
So we actually, parents have hard time understanding that they're not gonna pay anything. And parents say to them, but when I took them to this facility, then I got a bill for $1,200. And we try to explain to them the goal and mission of our clinic. So they're actually having a hard time comprehending that they don't have to worry about it. Some of the mothers almost had their tears in their face. When
So do you get referrals from hospitals or
we
other?
get referrals from pediatricians.
You do.
Yes, we went to all local pediatricians at this point, and they've been referring patients. Like I said, we already start building another waiting list. Yeah, so it's very rewarding, in a sense, to see that we're there.
How often are you there?
I'm there twice, Tuesday, Thursday, because Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm on Central Physical Therapy. That's how, at this point, we're able to support whatever we can.
Right.
So I work there more, so I can.
Well, I commend you for trying. I mean, I think it's terrific, and
Yeah.
hopefully it can
I'm
go
not a
off
hedge fund
with
person
people like
yet.
Karen in order to
Yeah.
get the money. Right, Karen?
Well, we're doing a lot of other things too. In fact, December 2nd, we have a fundraising concert in Morristown. It's a classical chamber group called Pegasus. So there will be orchestra, yeah, violin, piano, and cello. If people are interested in that, they can simply go to TheraYouth.org and either donate or see the events page for the upcoming charity concert. That all proceeds going to benefit the clinic.
Thank you. Any other closing comments you'd like to make?
Just help us the way you can so we can thrive and have this clinic growing so we can hire more therapists to help more children.
Thank you.
And
Karen, you good?
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
So I want to thank Ms. Karen McLaughlin and Dr. Irina Marcoff for joining us. And keep in mind, what is it?
TheraYouth.org.
TheraYouth, Thera youth.org, if you're interested in helping this organization grow. And if you have any children who may need their services, please contact them through TheraYouth.org. I'm Mayor Chris Bollwage, and we'll see you next week on another edition of Our City.